Warm greetings from the IT, and it is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me. Hope you all are well, staying warm. Prayers for the East Coast. They have some very, very bad weather that has touched down, and we're going to pray for those said people who live on the eastern seaboard of America. Prayers to all of you, and whew, prayers to all the people who have a lot of crazy things going on with them as of late. And prayers for Miss Regina King. As most of you know her, she is an African American actress. Her son committed suicide a week or so ago. So we'll send prayers out for her. I want to send prayers out to my mods, Rags, Crystal Moore, and Kinsley Masters. As I told you all before, Kinsley's father-in-law passed away. Rag's father passed away, and Crystal Moore's son was in an accident. So prayers for the mods. Thank you all for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Tonight's discussion is going to be a very touchy subject matter. I will drop the link once I'm done with the commentary pertaining to this story. I will play at least 3 different audios pertaining to this case out of Texas, pertaining to 3 young boys. They are Hispanic males, all under the age of 18 to my knowledge. A horrific crime was committed out there. They are accused of killing their stepfather. 2 were brothers, and they acquired the help of another young man, a friend of theirs, to exact this murder against the stepfather, who has been accused of molesting their sister. So this is a very, very touchy subject matter. Please be respectful in your comments, and if you decide to hit the panel, thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. God bless all of you. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and get started since it's a bit winded. And then I'll also bring you, as I said, 3 different audios pertaining to the case. The first news will be a I believe it's called City of Pharr, Pharr, where this crime took place. Their police department will give a statement. Then I will take you on to News Nation Now, and then a local Texas station of said commentary. Then I will read your article because a petition has been drawn up to have the boys released from custody. A petition has been drawn up for said citizens to sign the petition to have all 3 boys released from custody for the murder of this said adult 42-year-old male, stepfather of the boys and the victim. Thank you so much for joining me.
Really, there's a lot of moving parts to its complex, and where we have a body originally that was discovered in McAllen, and then from there, it's detectives have to follow up on information and to reveal who actually were the suspects in the case. On Thursday evening at an RV park at 1201 East Moore, a female minor made an outcry to her mom about being appropriately judged by her father, Gabriel Quintanilla, which is the deceased in this case. When brothers Alejandro and Christian Trevino found out, they confronted Gabriel at the residence, and a physical fight ensued between the 3 and the victim, Quintanilla, left the location on foot. Information and everything that I'm reading to you right now is what has been learned through detectives through the work that has been done up to this point. Christian Trevino, he does run out. He runs after the victim, Quintanilla, and finds him outside of an apartment complex, which is further south down the road there in Pharr. We have a complex that's just south of where this residence is at. A second assault occurs there, and Alejandro Trevino, the driver of a red Dodge Charger, who we've identified as Juan Eduardo Melendez, catch up to him and again join in an assault towards the victim at that point. The 3 suspects leave the location, change vehicles, drive back in a white Ford F-150, and found the victim walking along what we believe is Veterans Road, alone and injured from his 2 previous injuries that had occurred. A third assault occurs, and the victim is, at that point, severely beaten more. The victim, who is still alive, is placed in the bed of the truck, and they drive off and they end up in an area of McCall and Wayland Road, where the victim was dropped off in the open field, and that's where McCann police originally found the body at. Suspects fled at that time. So, investigation revealed that the victim was beaten with brass knuckles and suffered severe head trauma at that point. Although the victim was severely beaten, the victim may still have been alive when he was there. And McAllen, we don't know for how long what that is. What we do know is when he was located by that individual there in McAllen and the police were called, that's where they essentially found that he was not alive. So we do have the arraignment that's going to be held here at 3 p.m. Downstairs at the court. And I'll read the charges that these three individuals will be being presented with in here in a moment. Alejandro Trevino, aggravated assault and engaged in organized criminal activity. Christian Trevino, aggravated assault, capital murder, engaging in organized criminal activity. And then we got a third individual, Juan Eduardo Melendez, capital murder, aggravated assault, and engaging in organized criminal activity. To conclude on this report, the investigation was complex and having multiple scenes, and also having to work with the first agency who ultimately provided information and part took lead on the case. That's where we're at with this point, and we believe that all individuals that were involved in this homicide are in custody.
A few questions, if you will. Clarification: is it Alejandro or is it X or a J?
Alejandro, it's Alexandero.
Okay, perfect. And then why is the Alejandro individual not facing murder charges that the other two are?
What I can share on that part, since there was multiple assaults that occurred, the assaults where we believe ultimately caused the death of this individual, those were the individuals that were charged for that.
Got it. And then also wondering, you all put out that the victim was wanted for continuous sexual assault of the family and assault family violence. Is that a separate issue, or is that incident also connected to this specific outcry?
No, that's a separate issue. Those were cases that had previously been filed that were currently filed within our agency, but from what I understand, years past.
And are the two suspects, Alejandro and Christian, his son? Is he a son?
No.
And then lastly,
No problem.
Lastly, do we know the relationship between the third suspect and the deceased man?
Third suspects and the deceased male.
Juan Gonzalez Melendez.
Juan Eduardo Melendez.
Juan Eduardo.
Yeah. And victim?
Yes.
There's no relationship.
Was he like friends with the other two?
Yes, there are the two of them. The two are brothers, and the other one is an individual that we believe that they called. So when he came out, they came to pick him up in a white truck. Originally, we had looked for a red Charger that was there. So that was a vehicle that originally they were in. When the second assault happened, this individual, the victim, started walking south from these apartments, which we believe is on Veterans Road. At that point, that's where they picked up this other individual and said, "Hey, look, this is where we're at," and by the second by the suit. But we believe that the reason that they picked up a truck is to transport him, not wanting to do it in the Dodge Charger.
One last thing that just came to mind. What about the young minor who made the outcry? Have any services been made available to her and the mother and family?
Yes. We're currently working with that minor and with other children that were at the home as well.
So just to clarify, the two brothers have no relation with the victim?
No. Stepchildren, sorry.
So the brothers are his stepson. They're stepsons.
Yes.
Okay. Another question. Do you happen to know why they made several assaults in different locations? Why were they going back and forth?
Well, what happened is the original assault happened at a residence there on 1201 East Moore. So he left on foot since he didn't have a car. So when he left on foot, they decided, you know what, they're still angry. So they went back and they found him, which is an apartment complex about a block away. When they found him, they got into another altercation. And typically, what you have in these cases, if they're going to assault them, then they leave, right? And then, whatever the case may be, the person has somebody pick them up. In this case, that wasn't their decision. They said, you know what, we're going to do this. And then when they left for that second time, they said, no, we want to go back a third time. So ultimately, they wanted to seriously injure this person.
Your name, sir?
Alejandro,
And your name, sir?
well, but
And your name, sir?
Christian Domingo.
Okay, Mr. Alejandro Petition.
Yes, sir.
You're charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Do you understand the charge?
I don't know what weapon I was.
These are the boys in court, and their charges are being read to them.
Well, we're not here to determine whether or not it's aggravated determined at this point. I'm just letting you know that you are charged with assault. It's called aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Do you understand that?
Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Thank you, Mark.
You understand that? Yes, sir. You're also charged with engaging in organized criminal activity, which is a first degree felony. You understand the charge? Yes, sir. Again, a first degree felony, executive money, you also get to receive from 5 to 99 years in prison. And a fine of $10,000. You understand that? Yes, sir. And Mr. Menendez?
Yes, sir.
There's a misdemeanor charge of possession of marijuana, which is a classic misdemeanor. You understand the charge? You understand the charge?
Possibly the mother, Deb.
Classic misdemeanor is a found guilty of misdemeanor and a fine of $15,000. You understand that?
Hello, Christina.
There's also a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, which is a second degree felony. You understand the charge?
Yes, Your Honor, go ahead and time over.
Again, we're not here to determine whether or not you want to make cases.
Excuse me.
We're not here for that. You have a chance to present your case. I'm just here to tell you what the charge is, explain what that means. I'm going to tell you what the left side and why. That's what we're here for. And again, it's aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, saying it's means that if you're found guilty of this, 20 years in prison, 20 years in prison, and a fine of $10,000. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're also charged with capital murder, a first degree felony, which means that if you're found guilty, you could receive death or life in prison. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're charged with engaging in organized criminal activity, which is a first degree felony. Do you understand the charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the first degree felony is that you're found guilty, you could receive 5 to 99 years in prison and a fine of $10,000. Do you understand that?
Sir? Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Green, you're charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, which is a first degree felony. Do you understand the charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
And a first degree felony means that you could found guilty, you could receive 5 to 99 years in prison and a fine of $10,000. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're also charged with capital murder, a first degree felony. Do you understand the charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Capital murder. Lord have mercy. Woo! Texas is hell. Mm.
You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And there's a third charge of engaging in organized criminal activity, first degree felony. You understand the charge?
Yes,
again, a person becoming possessed of accountability for receipt of 5 to 9 minutes in prison. And the fine will be $10,000. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to tell each of you what your rights are, and tell me what you understand your rights. You each have the right to hire an attorney to have an attorney present to advise you before any issues or questions by police officers or attorney representing the state. You have the right to remain silent or to say anything in the court's office. You have the right to stop an issue with question at any time. You have the right to examine the trial, not form of attorney. You have the right to post that one to your client for you. Mr. You understand the rights? Yes, sir. And Mr. Juan, you understand the rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Christian, you understand the rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to ask the district courts to appoint an attorney for you two. If you want to hire one on your own, and go ahead and do that. And Mr. Evans, in reference to the possession of marijuana charge for asking Mr. Miller, I'm going to ask the county for a lawyer to appoint an attorney for you. If you want to hire one on your own, you can go ahead and do that. And Mr. Alejandro, are you a U.S. citizen?
No, I'm not.
Are you a citizen of Mexico?
Yeah.
If you're a citizen of Mexico, then you can ask that we notify the consulate of Mexico that you can attend. Do you want us to notify the consulate?
No.
And Mr. Menendez, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Christian, you are a U.S. citizen?
No, sir.
You're a citizen of Mexico?
Yes, sir.
Since you're a citizen of Mexico, you could ask to notify the consulate of Mexico that you can. Do you want us to notify the consulate? Mr. Alejandro, in reference to the aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, I'm going to say one at $500,000 cash or sure. In reference to the conviction, organized criminal activity, I'm going to say one at $500,000 cash or sure. Mr. Menendez, I'm saying one for the possession of marijuana charge, that's at $2,000 cash or sure. The aggravated assault charge at $500,000 cash or sure. The capital murder charge at $500,000 cash for sure. And victim of organized criminal activity, $500,000 cash for sure. And Mr. Christian, I'm going to say one for the aggravated assault with a deadly weapon at $500,000 cash for sure. The capital murder charge at $500,000 cash for sure. And victim of organized criminal activity.
They all face, this is capital. This is a capital case. When it goes to trial, they are facing capital murder, all three young men. I believe one or two are of legal age, 18 years of age.
Questions? That's not a question.
What you're hearing are the three boys in court getting their charges read to them. You can go into YouTube Q to get the information and verification. Thank you. It's on my community page. I will be playing you several audios. All right, everybody. That's the first audio. This is called Far Brothers Accused of Killing Stepfather Over Sister's Abuse of Rain. This was uploaded 7 days ago. So this is a crime from 7 days ago in the city of Far, P-H-A-R-R. If you're in Texas and familiar with this area, I am not. I've never heard of this said town. I'm assuming it's a very small place. To recap, what I just played you is the audio from the police reading you the said charges and how the crime was laid out by the three boys. 2 court hearing of the young men being arraigned in court. They are facing aggravated charges with the use of a weapon, capital murder of the said stepfather, 42 years of age. The boys are believed to be between the ages of 17 and 18. So that means 1 or 2 were of legal age when they committed this said crime against the stepfather. It is 2 stepsons. They acquired the help from another boy who is not related to them or the man's child. The 2 boys were stepchildren. That is not their father. They killed the man because he is accused of molesting their sister. He also had pending charges, the 42-year-old male. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. A petition has been drawn up for the boys to release the boys from custody. I will bring you the said information. This is Everyday Shenanigans. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you all so much for joining me. God willing, let's see what happens here. Okay. Let me go back in. Pull up said information. Thank you all for joining me so much. It's a very serious case out of Texas. You're entitled to your opinion. This is just a very riveting case right now. And some will call it vigilante justice. Some will say it was justifiable homicide. When you hear the commentary from News Nation, you will see how it was laid out and why some will say that it was cold-blooded murder due to the fact that the boys had an altercation with the stepfather round 1, and then it escalated to a round 2 where the planning took place of hunting the man down and killing him and discarding him in the field. Thank you for joining me. One moment, please, while I get this said information up. ValleyCentral.com is my second source. This is pertaining to the petition. This was uploaded 2 days ago. Thank you so much. Here we go.
Good evening, Valley, and welcome to CBS 4 Valley at 10. I'm Chris Jacobs.
And I'm Faith Woodard. First on 4, our coverage of the 3 FAR teens charged with the murder of a man accused of touching a young relative inappropriately continues tonight.
An online petition is circulating calling for their release. So far, it has 280,000 signatures. CBS 4's Karina Vargas spoke with the petition's creator about the change he's hoping to make.
These are kids. I mean, they're 17 and 18-year-olds. And regardless of whether you think what they did is right or wrong, I think we can all agree that they shouldn't spend the rest of their lives in prison.
Carlos Eduardo Espina is the creator of this Change.org petition for the 3 teens, Alejandro Trevino, Christian Trevino, and Juan Eduardo Melendez. All 3 are facing charges in connection to the killing of 42-year-old Gabriel Quintanilla.
They're facing capital murder charges, which here in Texas have a minimum sentence of life in prison without parole. So if they do get convicted of these charges, they will spend the rest of their lives in prison.
The petition addressed to Governor Greg Abbott has received over 280,000 signatures, and the number keeps growing. Espina says he is looking for change.
Mostly, I just want a reevaluation of the case, see if those charges can be dropped to something lesser, and potentially try to bargain for the best possible deal for them.
A local defense attorney explains how petitions like this one can enact change, but to a certain extent.
The governor, once the proceedings are done, should he choose to do so, could grant a pardon. That is within his legal authority. But it's not within his legal authority to step in at the very beginning and ask someone to just be released.
Defense attorney Jesse Villalobos says other cases across the U.S. have shown the impact of political pressure.
It does certainly put pressure on the local authorities to, one, lower the bonds, and 2, when they proceed with the case, how they handle it.
Villalobos says this case is tragic, but to have order in society, one must go through the legal system, something Espina says has failed repeatedly, which is why he is calling for change now. Working for you in McAllen, I'm Karina.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for that said information. Listening to that, I appreciate it. FAR is in Texas, PHARR. For those of you who are not familiar with this town, I've never heard of it before. But anyway, this is a crime that took place in this town of FAR, Texas. A petition has been drawn up to have the children released, the 3 boys who are accused of this crime against the stepfather to 2 of the boys. The other boy is a friend of one of the children. I will read you the said information. Feel free to go online to sign the petition if you feel like these children should be free from these atrocious charges that have been put upon them, because they did indeed kill this 42-year-old man. You're entitled to your opinion. Please be respectful in the chat and on the panel. When I'm done with the commentary, the said information reads as follows. An online petition is circulating calling for the release of 3 FAR teens facing charges in connection to the murder of a man accused of touching a young relative inappropriately. The petition is over 294,000 signatures. These are kids. They're 17, 18-year-olds. And regardless of whether you think what they did was right or wrong, I think we can all agree that they shouldn't spend the rest of their lives in prison, said Carlos Eduardo Espina, the creator of the petition on change.org, named Justice for Alejandro, Christian, and Juan. Espina tells Valley Central he wants change for the 3 teens, Alejandro Trevino, Christian Trevino, and Juan Eduardo Melendez, who are all facing charges in connection to the killing of 42-year-old Gabriel Quintanilla. They are facing capital murder charges, which here in Texas, they have a minimum sentence of life in prison without parole. So if they do not get convicted of these charges, they will spend the rest of their lives in prison, said Espina. This case has garnered national attention, and the petition addressed to Governor Greg Abbott continues to grow. Espina said he wants the governor to take a closer look at the case. Mostly, I just want a reevaluation of the case to see if those charges can be dropped to something lesser and potentially try to bargain for the best possible deal for them, said Espina. Jesse Villalobos, a local defense attorney at Villalobos law firm, explains how petitions like this one can enact change, but to a certain extent. The governor, once the proceedings are done, should he choose to do so, could grant a pardon that is within his legal authority, but it's not within his legal authority to step in at the very beginning and ask someone to be released, said Villalobos. He went on to add that cases across the U.S. have shown the impacts of political pressure, something we can come to see here. It does certainly put pressure on the local authorities to, 1, lower the bonds, and 2, when they proceed with the case, how they handle it, said Villalobos. Villalobos said while he understands this case is tragic, in order to have order in society, one must go through the legal system, and people should not take justice into their own hands. This approach is something, as Espina said, has failed repeatedly, which is why he is calling for change now. If you need verification for the information that I just brought you, valleycentral.com/KVOTV. So a petition has been drawn up, 294,000 people have signed the petition. If you want to go to change.org, you believe these boys should be free, out on bond, pretrial release, whichever, please feel free to go over to change.org and sign the petition. If you feel the need to sign the petition, it is for justice for Alejandro, Christian, and Juan, 2 brothers and 1 friend. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. I will now bring you source number 3 pertaining to this story out of Texas. Thank you all so much for joining me. I've read you commentary, played you audio, from the police department and the hearing of the boys in court being arraigned. I just read you also information about the petition drawn up online. I will also bring you source number 3. Fox 26 is the source pertaining to the legal take on the situation of the 3 Texas teens who beat the stepfather to death for allegedly sexually assaulting the half-sister. Thank you for joining me.
With murder. This is for killing a man that they say police wouldn't do anything about, despite already having warrants for his arrest. Are they cold-blooded killers, or were their actions justified in defense of their little sister? Jonathan Martin making the case with attorney Charles Adams.
Capital murder because Quintanilla was kidnapped, right, when he was taken in the back of the F-150 and dropped off somewhere else.
The story of 2 teen brothers in South Texas arrested for beating their stepfather to death for allegedly sexually abusing their half-sister has a lot of people talking. They were apparently so enraged at their stepfather, Gabriel Quintanilla, they, along with their friend, confronted him at a home, beat him before attacking him 2 more times at another location, reportedly with brass knuckles, then dumping his body in a field where he was found dead. Clearly a crime, but was it justified?
And as in, if you are the defense attorney in this situation, what you're arguing is that there are these mitigating circumstances, the rape of their very young, small child, little sister, by their evil stepfather.
Quintanilla did have a warrant out for continual sexual abuse of another child. I asked attorney Charles Adams if that history could help a defense.
Certainly, it bolsters
Let
the
me play that
perception
again.
that they were
If that history could help a defense.
evil stepfather.
Quintanilla did have a warrant out for continual sexual abuse of another
He
child.
had a warrant
I
out.
asked attorney Charles Adams if that history could help a defense.
Certainly, it bolsters the perception that he was rightfully accused, right? Because it was a different victim. So now you have two young children claiming that they were sexually assaulted by this man, right? And if these two brothers and the friend were aware, I think it provides a rationale, a justification that a lot of people can understand.
But the teens are facing serious charges, including murder and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. While some might understand their motivation, others argue killing someone in a situation like this is never okay. But what might a jury say? Charles says, while a long shot, a jury nullification argument might be the best option for a defense.
Where you as a lawyer look at the jury and say, hey, we understand that this meets the elements, but we're asking you to find them not guilty anyway. Because I don't think there's anyone in America that can't sympathize with two brothers acting the way they did in response to someone who had violently raped their little sister.
All right, everybody, that's source number 3, Fox 26, pertaining to the 3 teens beating up the stepfather. I will now bring you source number 4, pertaining to this riveting case out of Texas. This is a short video by News Nation. Texas teens accused of killing stepfather of alleged abuse of sister. News Nation Prime is the source. This was uploaded 2 days ago in the queue. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans.
His brother Christian found out about their stepfather's alleged abuse and asked their friend Juan to help them take matters into their own hands. They reportedly chased down 42-year-old Gabriel Quintanilla, and they beat him to death. Quintanilla was later found dead in a field with blunt force trauma to his head, and the 3 teenagers are now in custody, and they face charges in his death. There is a petition now asking Governor Greg Abbott to release these teenagers, saying that they were protecting their sister. It has more than 290,000 signatures as of tonight and growing. Rachel Fizet is a criminal defense attorney based out of Los Angeles, and she is joining us live to talk more about this case. This is a complicated one, Rachel. There are a lot of people who sympathize clearly with these teenagers, but the law doesn't always work that way.
No, in a civilized society, the law doesn't work that way. The laws are in place to encourage people to follow them and to give everybody a fair day in court, including the accused sex offender who, is accused of molesting these boys' sister. This is a horrible case. Nobody wins, but there's very little here that can be done outside of the law. There are a few things that the petition suggests as it relates to elected lawmakers, but the law doesn't really support this kind of thing.
So at last check, there were 290,000 signatures on this petition and growing. Does it have any type of impact on legal proceedings? I mean, does a judge or a jury, if this were to go to trial, look at that and some of the extenuating circumstances around this type of crime and the information that we have at this point?
Well, as to a judge and jury, what the defense attorney may claim is that they did this in the heat of passion, and they may try to get this mitigated down from what would look like a murder 1 charge down to a lesser charge of murder, even up to manslaughter. But heat of passion usually looks like a lover walking in on his lover or her lover and killing the person they're having an affair with or something like that. This looks a little more planned. And so it's hard for them to argue heat of passion. But what I do think as it relates to the petition is that if they are talking plea deals with the DA is an elected official who will care about his or her, it's him in McAllen, his constituents. And he may look to see that this might be a very popular thing to do. So the DA's office may enter into a plea deal with the teens that to a lesser charge than capital murder.
Right. One of the teens 17. I mean, charged as an adult, you think unlikely in this case?
Texas, I bet he will be charged as an adult, but maybe it's that kind of thing. These kind of petitions might influence how he's charged and where a plea deal could go. But it looks like, as far as this kind of petition and what is popular, that you can't really bring that into court in front of a jury. That won't have any weight.
I want to go back to something you said a moment ago. I mean, the details of this are really disturbing, and you talk about, whether or not they had planned it. Is this where they're in the most trouble? Because it started as a confrontation, a fight between these two brothers and the stepfather who is accused of sexually abusing the sister. Then they went after him again. There was a second fight, and then he was walking down the road, according to police. They beat him up again, put him in the truck, and then they dumped him in a field. So if it had only been for the first fight where it was all of them fighting against one another and it had ended, would this be a much different case? It's the other things that they did.
Yeah, so I think it could look like self-defense if they were in a fight, but I believe that two of the brothers contacted a friend in order to start this fight. And that's where I think the issues begin, is that they actually premeditated the fight, and it wasn't, that looks planned. So once things start looking planned and they kind of illegally entered the fight, that's where what ensues after that, and here it happened a couple of times, they kept re-entering the fight, that's where it looks like they are intentionally seeking to either really maim him or kill him. And I think that's where it looks premeditated, and it doesn't look in the heat of passion, and it doesn't look like self-defense. It looks like they're defending their sister. I believe he was also accused of abusing two more children. So in their minds, they're justified, but the law doesn't work that way.
It is a tragic story. It is easy to sympathize with some of the feelings, but very difficult to justify, certainly in the law of the land. Rachel Fizet, as always, we appreciate your insight on this one. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching.
All right. News Nation now is the source. And it's Texas teens accused of killing stepfather of alleged abusive sister. Let me get started. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. The 42-year-old male was the stepfather of two of the boys. The boys contacted a third party to intervene. Now, I don't know if on fight one, it was just the brothers and the victim, or did they go on fight two because they couldn't handle the man? They still were angry. This is what they call boy number 3. I'm not really sure because I don't want to repeat anything that I'm not sure of. But at one point, a third party was called. I believe it was his name is Juan. And he comes in to join them to beat this man up again. They see him walking down the street. I guess they tackle him, whatever, beat him up, throw him in the truck, and discard him out in the field. The man had a warrant out for another charge of sexual assault against another child. Now, in this commentary, you hear the lady says 2 other children. So then that would make the victims at a total of 3, if that is to be accurate. So what happened? Why was he out on bond, pre-trial release, or whatever for, well, he couldn't have been, I don't really understand what's really going on because I don't have all the information. But if they were looking for him, which the commentary says there was a warrant out for him, that means he should have known that he had a warrant and he should have turned himself in. And it's even more baffling is that this is another child we're speaking of where the warrant is. The warrant's on him for a whole nother child, not this child. So who's the other child? Let's go there. Question number 1. Why did he have a bond? 2, why didn't he turn himself in? 3, who's the other child and the other child? Okay? How many children are we talking total? How many have never pressed charges? How many children have never told on him? See, the questions are endless. When the boys fought him the first time, why didn't they just rough him up, tell him to get on, and that be the end of the story. Why did they then find him again, call a third party to beat the guy up, but this time they killed him, beat him with brass knuckles. In the police report, the police reading that I played you earlier, the officer tells you that possibly the man was possibly still alive, but naturally they didn't call for aid, so he died. The problem with heat of passion is that they didn't walk up on him, see him touch the sister, then beat him up. That could be their claim in court, their defense. They fought him 2 times, and then they called a third party. That's where premeditation comes in. So they may not be able to use the defense of heat of passion. Naturally, it will be up to the defense attorney and the state laws to determine what charge is sufficient for the 3 males. We're talking about what? 1 17-year-old and 2 18-year-olds. And we know that most states will charge a 17-year-old, possibly even a 16-year-old, as an adult for a very atrocious, heinous crimes such as murder and premeditation of murder. Was it right what they did? Fighting him 2 times, killing him round 2. Going to get their friend. Why did they go get the friend and involve him? Somebody who didn't have a dog in the race. Why did you go get him, boys? Young man, why did you join in? You should have said no. That's okay. I don't mean any harm, but it's not my fight. It's not my problem. Handle it yourselves. You're the brothers. I am not. It's not my sister. So why did the third party go along with this? Have the boys been in trouble before? Do they have any other type of crimes committed in the state of Texas or anywhere else? Or any of them wanted for any other crimes? Warrants out for the said children? Where is the mother? Somebody in the chat asked about the mother. I don't have any information about the mother, her role in this, how long she's known that the man was sexually abusing her child. I don't know. So now we have to ask that question. Mommy, did you know this man had been touching your child? And if so, how long did you know? Did you know of his other charges? Did you know he was a sexual predator when you met him? Did you find out he was a sexual predator after the fact? At what point did you learn, ma'am, that you had been sleeping with the enemy and had him in the house with your children? And did you know about it and still stayed with him? Knowing that he had committed atrocious crimes against other said children, did you have knowledge of that? Did you also have knowledge he was touching your girl child? Did your girl child ever come to you and tell you that this man had been touching her and you stayed anyway? What is the truth? And how long has everybody in the house been knowing about the little girl being molested by the stepfather? And who are the other children that he has been touching and the warrant is out for him? This is the sick part, that he was walking around, living in someone's house, touching somebody's child, and had a warrant out for his arrest for another sexual assault against another child. Who is that child? Children. Where are they? Where are their mothers? Same question goes for their mothers. When did you find out about your child being abused? How long was it going on? What is your relationship to the predator who is now no longer living? Is this a man who was dating other women and messed with their girl children, boy children? What are we saying? Is he just an offender of girl children? Thousands of questions, no answers, because now the defendant is dead, beat by 3 boys. 2 who were stepsons, 1 was a friend. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to this case. Please be respectful in your commentary. Amen. How you doing, Candace? Hit me up on IG, sweetheart. We'll talk there. Hello, Jackie. Hello, everybody in the chat. Hello, Reese. Hello, honey. How are you all doing? Thank you all for joining me. I played 4 sources of information, 3 audios, and 1 by article. If you need to verify anything that I have said in this commentary, please go back to the beginning of the said video with the sources. All 3 sources that had audio are on my community page. If you would like to listen to the said information in the news stations, that played the charges, the court appearances by the 3 boys. They are facing aggravated assault with a weapon, also capital murder of a 42-year-old male who also had a warrant out for his arrest for sexual assault of another said child. 2 boys are being charged as brothers for this heinous crime alongside their friend. That makes this a total of 3 young boys, 17 and 18. Capital murder against a sexual predator. Did they do the right thing? Did they take justice into their hands? Are they vigilantes? Or did they right or wrong? Hit the link. 120 viewing. Thank you. Thank you all for joining me. Once again, thank you for the birthday wishes. God bless all of you. The Queen had an okay time. She could have called. Well, we don't know where they fought. We don't know if it was outside, inside. Second fight took place outside, so I can't say where they fought them. If they fought inside the house first time, I'm not sure. They deserve to walk. Ellie overcharged them, so a jury will find it hard to convict. We will see. They did the right thing all the way around. Drop all charges. Okay. Well, John, hit the link. Somebody hit the link, you guys. I dropped the link so you can give your opinion on the panel. I don't have any information about the warrant. Everything I played is just as I played it. I have no idea about a warrant. I have no idea about the mother. I have no idea about who the other children are. Thank you for joining me. Hello. You couldn't wait to do that. Smoke a cigarette.
Hey.
Hey.
What's going on?
How are you, dear?
All right, and you? How was your celebration? Was you good? You enjoy yourself?
Yeah, it was interesting. Trust me, it's a lesson learned. Some things weren't kosher, but you know, I winged it. It's okay. I came back in one piece. God is good. So
for the most part, yes, He is. For the most part, you made the best.
Yes. There's another part of this video. I wanted to do a 2-part compilation because there's another case of a Caucasian girl who went to a party and was raped, and the judge let the boy go. And I wanted to do a 2-part live, but I didn't want to add it to this title. I did, but I didn't. I may bring it back a little bit later, but I thought they both were befitting because in this case, we got 3 boys killing a man for sexual assault of a girl. And then in that case, an older girl, her suspect gets let go by the judge.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's kind of ass backwards.
Yeah, I know. Well, tell me what you think. 2 brothers and a friend, 2 fights took place. They approached him on number 2. And this time they called, I think, the friend on the second round and had him to help. I think possibly they really couldn't beat him up like they wanted, and that's why they called the friend. I don't know. I can't say. That's just my assumption.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That is a possibility.
Yeah.
But
Because why would you call a third person if you couldn't get the job done? Or what was your motive? Were you trying to kill him the first time, but you didn't have the weight, so you went and got your third party? Yeah. What?
Something. They wanted to punish dude, and I'm on their team. I'm on their team.
Okay.
They did the absolute right thing. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. So you protect your sister. You don't let nobody do nothing to your sister like that at all. At no time, never.
Okay, so let's go here.
The world. Yeah.
Are you telling me that you believe in vigilante justice?
Not vigilante justice, but if you do something to somebody's sister like that, and this is a child, this is a baby. Dude,
but it's still vigilante justice.
Okay, well, the world can call it whatever they choose to. Right is right, and right is right, and wrong is wrong.
So let me ask you this.
And we all know the difference between the two.
Okay, so what should the charge be? Should they get off or should they do some time?
I don't think they should do any time. I think all charges should be dropped.
Okay, so are you going to sign the petition? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but just ask.
Yes, I will.
Okay, so it's on change.org.
Yes, I will. And we'll stand up under it because they, man, no.
I mean, I've done some things on change.org. I signed a petition. I signed for a judge out of Alabama who let Yazid go, and he's the one that killed the young black girl, Anaya Blanchard. He kidnapped her from a gas station and dumped her off the side of the highway in Alabama. And he had been in trouble not even a year before for robbing an older man and his friend at a hotel. And he drove them down the highway, and the old man was like 78 years old, damn near dead. When the state trooper or whoever pulled him over and saw the man up there in the front seat, they said it was bad, that they beat that man damn near to death. So I signed that petition to have her off the bench because she knew better, and she was a black judge, a black woman judge. I said, I want her gone because you had no right to let that man free because he had multiple charges from Missouri all the way to Alabama.
Something like that happened in California one year. I remember. And the judge let the dude go. But, you know, hey, that's the society we live in. But these boys, they didn't do anything wrong. They did what they were supposed to do.
Okay.
They did what they were supposed to do. And especially if the authorities knew, you know what I'm saying, what was going on, what this dude was facing, and he got priors of doing this shit.
Well, he had a warrant out. He had a warrant out. But see, that's the whole point. Was he hiding out somewhere to where they couldn't get him? Because how is it that the boys could get a hold of him? Okay, John fell off. How is it that the boys could get a hold of this guy who had a warrant out for his arrest for another sexual assault of a child? This is very strange to me. Hold on one second. Okay, you fell off.
Yeah, I don't think he was hiding out. I think, you know, he was just, to be honest with you.
Okay, but I'm saying he had a warrant out for his arrest, Hunter.
Yeah, he knew he had a warrant. He knew they was looking for him, and he kept drinking. You know, he kept on drinking. He stayed drunk.
Oh, Lord.
No, that's the truth. He's a Mexican. He drinks a lot.
Okay.
That's what they do. My wife's a Mexican. They drink a lot.
What? Don't say all Mexicans, Hispanics. Let's just say he's got problems, period. No matter what he's into, he's got problems. He likes touching children, so it don't even matter about alcohol and drugs. That don't got nothing to do with me touching no kids. There are a lot of people that drink and get high. They do not molest children.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It has nothing to do with that.
I didn't know you were married to a Hispanic woman. You told all your business.
No, I mean, but no, that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? And right is right and wrong is wrong.
Okay.
And them boys did nothing wrong. They did exactly what they were supposed to do.
Okay. So I'm asking you, what should the charge be? What should the punishment be?
If anything, assault. But I doubt that because of the charges, because of the circumstances leading up to the assault.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because that, you know, the chart, I mean, you know what I'm saying? His actions justify their actions. You know, everything he did justified everything that had what he got done to him. Because he deserved every bit of it.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the other children. Who are they?
I don't know. How old were the kids?
I don't know. No, there were no descriptions of none of the children in any of the articles or this the audio that I played. Nothing about the mother. We don't know anything.
Yeah, see, I mean, but right is right, and the world knows wrong is wrong, and right is. They know the difference. We know the do's and the don'ts.
Well, what I like to know is about the mother, how long she's been dating him. Was he living with her at the time? How's it the boys were able to find him to fight him, but the police couldn't find him for the warrant?
They said stepfather. Was he married to their mom?
What I'm saying is, but that's what I'm trying to say, sweetheart, is that
Yeah.
If they could find him to fight him, does that mean he was living with them? Why couldn't the police serve the warrant? That's what I'm trying to say. Because how would the boys find him, but the police couldn't find him? So that's what I'm saying.
They knew
down the street.
They knew his hangouts. They knew where he frequents. They knew his frequent spots.
But I'm saying, was he living with the family? See, none of that was revealed.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to know. Was the stepfather at the house with the boys and the victim living? Why didn't the warrant get executed for the previous charges? Who are the other children he's been accused of molesting? How long did the mother date him? How long had he been living with her or dating her? Was he living at that house the day the boys beat him up? Why didn't they kill him for round 1? Why did they go back round 2? Why did they call their friend?
Yeah.
What do you think about them calling the friend to help?
They might have, you know what I'm saying? They might have been, dude was in his 40s and they in their teens. So they might have needed a little bit of help. They might have needed a little bit of help. And you know, hey, if they buddy, you know what I'm saying, and they ran it down to him, look, man, dude did this, and this, man, to my sister, man, come on, help us out, man. Man, come on, let's go get this food. You know, that's probably how it went down, you know.
Yeah.
But
I think they couldn't handle him.
Yeah.
I think they couldn't handle him, or they were still mad at the first fight, and then they realized they couldn't handle him because 2 people could beat or kill 1 victim. We already know this.
Yeah.
So I think they couldn't handle him, so they called another guy, and I think that bigger one was the one they called.
Well, yeah, he had to be bigger because 2 teenagers ain't got a chance against me. I don't give a damn who they are. Ain't gonna happen. They ain't got a chance. Just fighting and beating up on me. Nah, you're not gonna whip my ass like that. No. It ain't gonna happen. So that's what I'm saying. They may have needed some help. And like you said, they buddy might have been he might have been bigger and might have been older. And yeah, that's all they needed.
Mm-hmm.
And they got you know what I'm saying? They had brass knuckles or whatever. So
yeah, they did. That's what was used, I heard. But the officer did say that possibly he was alive at the time and not fully dead. So that means if the coroner can say that he was still alive at some point during the beating, then that means you let the man lay there and bled out.
Yeah. Or he was leaking somewhere else, you know, where the first altercation went down or whatever. And then, you know, when they had to get up, had to run up on him in the second location, that is where the premeditation kicks in. If they ever try to charge him, you know.
Well, that's what that's the whole point of why this woman in this last audio said that it's not heat of passion. It's because they went back round 2.
That's premeditation. Heat of passion.
Premeditation, right?
It's not in the heat of passion at all, because it ain't got nothing.
What he was trying to explain to people is that heat of passion is I walked up on your cheek and then I went off. They had round 2 fights with the man.
That's the heat of passion.
Right.
Premeditation is I'll whoop your ass over here and I thought about it like 15, 20 minutes and I'm gonna go over here and whoop your ass some more somewhere else.
Right.
That's premeditation.
Yeah. Well, that's what the lady was saying in the News Nation commentary, that the fact that they fought him 2 times and then called a third party leads you to believe that they planned it again. Why didn't you do what you had to do the first time? You possibly could have got the fence.
That's all that right there is premeditation. Check this out. All that right there is premeditation, and they can throw in a conspiracy charge with it.
Yeah, well, we will see. Texas is a very hard state when it comes to crime.
Right on top of it.
Texas, Florida, and California are very tricky states when it comes to murder, especially when you use a weapon that amps up your charges.
Yes, ma'am.
And naturally, when you have somebody else with you, there comes your conspiracy charges. If they die, that amps up another charge. And you had a weapon and you were a felon, more charges. So I don't know if the children have been in trouble before, but they were very respectful in court because I played the audio from court. Everything was yes, sir. During the court proceedings when they were being arraigned. So we will see what happens.
Because they truly feel that they were in the right, and they were.
Well, we will see if they even have remorse when this all pans out. Did the children have any remorse for now killing the man? Mercy, what a case.
To be honest with you, and this may sound cruel as hell, he don't deserve any remorse.
Yeah.
At all. He deserves everything that he got. He deserved 10 times more.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
And that's just, you know, how I'm cut. You know what I'm saying? You don't, partner, no.
Yeah.
You get ready to die today. And that's what they did.
Yeah, I wonder what the mother's saying, because I haven't seen anything about the mother. Mercy.
So, you know, hey. And you know, they kids, true. And the courts, you know, the system, you know what I'm saying, don't jerk these boys around. Please don't do these boys wrong. Because it will be a serious injustice if they do.
Well, that's why you got to sign the petition. If you think that the boys should be released, then sign the petition. I'm telling anybody that's watching this live, if you feel the boy should be free on bond, pretrial release, however, go to change.org and sign the petition for the 3 boys to have them released. They have 294,000+ signees.
And it's growing.
So they're probably nearing 300,000 signatures at the moment. Thank you all for joining me. This is a case of 3 Hispanic males, young males out of Texas. They killed a man who believed to be less than their half-sister, 2 brothers and a friend. They had 2 altercations with the said 42-year-old male who is now dead. They beat him to death and left him to die out in a field. What do you think? Is this justified homicide or cold-blooded murder? Thank you for joining me. This, mercy.
You know, I don't know what state it is, but when I was a kid growing up or whatever, and every time I would hear something about like domestic, you know, killing or whatever, you know, a husband killing a wife or the wife killing the husband or something or whatever, because the other was caught cheating in the act of cheating or whatever.
Yeah.
And they used to call it one of these states have a law, and they call it they needed killing law.
Mm-hmm. That's a case I wanted to bring you all out of Texas too, of a Hispanic woman. It's a very famous case. The woman that killed her husband, ran him over off the road. And I wanted to bring that last week, but I got a little sidetracked with the other mess that I talk about. But that's one of my stories I want to bring in the crime vault.
Yeah, because this is one of these states. I don't know which one it is, but they say they got a law. They call it the they needed killing law, and that's how whoever the spouse is gets off of whatever the murder charge may be, because the one that the spouse deserved to be killed. Whatever went down at that moment, and whoever got killed, they deserved it, and that's somebody's case, and they cited it and won their case about it. I can't think of what state it is. It might be Texas.
I don't understand what you're saying.
It's a law. I don't know what it's called in one of these states, to where instead of, like, if the husband killed a wife because she got caught in the bed cheating with another man or something like that, and he killed both of them, the husband killed them both, he walks because they needed killing. She was already married to him, and she cheating on her husband with this dude. And the dude that she got killed, the dude that she was cheating with, knew they was married. So he deserved to die just like the wife did. And it's called they needed killing. It's a one of these states. I can't, man, it's gonna come to me. I can't think.
You're killing me right now.
I can't think of where it was. God,
I know North Carolina was the first state that allowed divorcees to sue their spouse for infidelity, because they made it into a Lifetime movie many years ago. And this one lady, a Caucasian lady, she won her case against her husband in court. She won monetary gain for him cheating on her. So North Carolina was the first state that allowed a spouse to sue their spouse for cheating on them. All right. London Storm says she signed the petition. Okay, honey.
I'm gonna go to it and sign it.
Okay. It's on change.org. For those who are interested in signing the petition to free the 3 boys, go to change.org. You'll see the petition there for the 3 boys out of Texas, Pharr, Texas. Pharr is the city where the crime allegedly took place. Let me see. Let me get the names of the boys. Hold on. One second. All right, Terry. Okay. The petition is called Justice for Alejandro, Christian, and Juan. If you need information for the petition, if you'd like to sign the petition to free the boys, Alejandro, Christian, and Juan, it is justice for those 3 boys. If you want to sign the petition, thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to this case. If the boys should do jail time, do life in prison. Also, the death penalty, I believe, will be on the table because it is a capital case. The least amount time could actually be life in prison.
It's a capital case.
I did hear him say that in the commentary. Yeah. See, it's more to it than just somebody got molested and I went and killed him. You fought him, then you fought him again, then you carried him out somewhere and dumped him. And then, like I said, the autopsy can show that the man was still alive. So then that means you let him lay there and die. See, it's more to it than what people think. No matter what your beliefs are about the suspect being a child molester.
Yeah, because they should have just whooped on him the first time and called the police.
Yeah, the first time, that's what they should have done. Because, see, I don't know if they found out that the little girl got touched right then. See, we don't know all that yet. At what point did they find out that the child was being molested?
They could have just whooped on him and then called the police. Come scrape him up.
Yeah.
Man. The society we live in.
Yeah. Very, very interesting.
Well,
I thank you.
I gotta go to work, so
that's okay. I'll probably be on a little later with another breaking news. It's my first live for today. Thank you for joining me, though.
That's what's up. Oh yeah, I enjoy talking.
Nobody, well, I appreciate it. I enjoy talking to you too.
You are the only somebody I listen to.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I don't listen to none of the other cats and none of them idiots. Every now and again, you know, I catch AV News Crew or whatever. I listen to him.
Okay.
Sometime, only if he's, you know, talking about something that catch my attention. But other than that, you're the only somebody I mess with.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. The love is real and reciprocated. I thank you for your support. I thank you. I hope the business is doing well out there. Did you all get any snow? Because they hit the East Coast. They said snow bad here.
If you call that snow, okay.
Well, I'm talking about Boston. I saw today 2 feet, so that's quite, you know.
Today they say, all right, it was warm. I mean, warm today. It was like the butt end of January. It's supposed to be freezing cold.
Yeah, it was warm yesterday when I left Chattanooga. When I got ready to pull out,
it was like,
I was like, oh my gosh.
Look, it was like 78 degrees today, and then on the news it say, what is it? Ice storm and snow flurries and all that's supposed to be coming through. Man, people I'll say out here, they tell me that when we hear the weather reports like that, and the weather does be like this, and it be warm like this, he said that's a tornado coming. Everybody done told me that they say that's a tornado sign.
Oh yeah, you have to be careful when that warm and cool air mix. Yeah, very dangerous. And then you're in the flatlands, so.
Because it ain't even cold out here right now.
Somebody says they're getting snow in Texas on Thursday.
Yeah, see, it is not even cold out here. It's almost 7 o'clock. I'm supposed to be out here shaking like a mini bike. It ain't cold out here at all.
Well, be thankful. Be thankful. Don't complain.
Man.
Don't complain now.
Oh, heck no, you can't complain. Enjoy this while you got it.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you.
All right, sis. Y'all be good.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
All right, later on.
Okay, honey. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. That's Mr. Hunter from out west. Thank you all for joining me. As I said, the said information is pertaining to 3 males, 2 brothers and a friend beat a man to death. The 42-year-old Hispanic male was beat to death. He was the stepfather of the 2 brothers. They added a friend on to help beat the man. They had a round 2 fight with the said man. Took the man and put him in a truck. Discarded him out in the field. Left him to die. It will be a matter of what the autopsy says. If he was alive at the time of the beating, I don't know. I don't know where the mom is. I don't know any commentary about the mother. I don't know the other warrant he had out for him, whose child that was, how many children he had sexually assaulted. One article says a warrant out for 1 kid. News Nation now says 2 children he has allegedly sexually assaulted besides the sister that the brothers were related to. So now we're talking about possibly 3 different children that this this suspect sexually assaulted. So I don't really know the gist of all the children that this man molested. But he was out free is the point. So naturally he was probably given a bond for his said charges, walked around free, and did not stand account on the warrant. But what I'm curious about is how long was he walking around? Someone says it was 2019. I didn't hear that year to my knowledge. So 2 years is a long time to be out on bond, which is soever, and not be arrested. So you have to ask the obvious questions. How did the boys beat him up then? If he's been walking around 2 years on a warrant, then that means he wasn't scared. So he's walking around. So where was the police? Why did they pick him up on the SA charges? And who are those charges for? What child? Whose child? So now that makes you believe, was he molesting family's children or another woman's child? Was he ever married? Does he have his own children? How long was this mother with the said man to lead her sons to beat him up, then go get another guy to help? Will these children be charged as adults? The 17-year-old. So many questions with no answers. That's the said information. Well, that's the thing. A lot of crimes, people are allowed a bond. That's the judicial system. It's up to the judge to decide if he or she wants to give you a bond. Okay, Salty has signed a petition. Okay, Salty C. If you want to sign a petition, is at change.org to free the boys. As of 2 days ago, it was at 294,000 signees. And the petition is for justice for Alejandro, Christian, and Juan. I do believe Alejandro and Christian are the brothers, and Juan is the friend. Thank you for joining me. So like I said, so many questions with no answers. Where's the mother? How long did she know that her children were being molested? Her child. Is he a molester? Boy children only? Girl children only? Who are the other children he has molested? How many children have come forward to say that he's touched them? How long was he with the mother? Was he living with the mother at the time? How is it that the boys were able to catch him to beat him up? That leads me to believe that he was living with them. He was out and about walking. They saw him and they handled their business 2 times. It is said legally that it will not be a defense of crime of passion because they fought him 2 times and they went and got the aid of another third party. So that's not a crime of passion legally. Okay. Lock her up just signed. It said it's at 500,000 signatures and climbing. Okay. So we will see what happens with this petition for the boys. You're entitled to your opinion to believe what you want to believe of the storyline. I don't know if the boys will be charged as adults, but this is a capital offense. It's also aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. They beat the man with brass knuckles. He had suffered traumatic head trauma from the beating. But what we have to ask ourselves is, why did the boys go back round 2? Did they go get the third party because they felt like they could not handle him? They wanted to kill him, so they wanted to get a third party. Why did the third party go along with it? Young man, why did you go along with your friends to do this? This wasn't your fight. So why would you now aid in help killing another man, child molester or not? Wasn't your fight. And that's probably what they're going to say in court. Why would you join in? You didn't know him. Wasn't your sister. So those are the things you have to think about. These are the things you have to think before you get involved in crime. It's a very sick story. Very, very sick story. Well, I'm not going to stay any longer. I dropped the link. So there are no participants. Mr. John obliged me by coming up to speak. I thank him very much for hitting the link. I thank him very much. But that's the said information coming out of Texas. When I get more information and an update to the storyline, I will bring you an update pertaining to the three brothers. If the petition helps in any way to get them released from custody, they will be on house arrest or pretrial release. I'll bring that said information. I thank you all for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you all so much. You all have a safe week. Thank you for the birthday wishes. And I'll be back with another commentary. Yes, everything went great. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you so much. This is Everyday Shenanigans. As I said, if you want to sign the petition, go to change.org. And the petition is for justice for Alejandro, Christian, and Juan. Thank you all so much.